What is your opinion of that?
Well, what's happened is that the United States has been evicted from the Middle East for the first time in any of our memories. That's never happened before. Again, the United States effectively had our rear end handed to us on the early morning hours of September 30th. A 3-star Russian general went into the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. I've been there. And we now know that this whole operation in the Middle East is being run out of Russia, Iran, Syria, Hezbollah, Hamas, all got together right next door to the U.S. Embassy and under our noses put this together. Russia is not there to get rid of the Islamic State in the way that we want the Islamic State gotten rid of. What Russia is about is Russia. What Iran is about is Iran. Iran hates the Islamic State because Iran is a Shia nation. The Islamic State is Sunni Islam. So Iran plans to get rid of the Islamic State. And what you see is you have gypsies, tramps, and thieves right now all over the Middle East. And they may have the same enemy in some cases, but they also have different interests as well. And so they're going in league now against the United States. But can you imagine if you're Israel? Can you imagine? Who has Israel's back now? There is no country in the world, none. For the first time since Israel's existence, May 14th, 1948, for the first time, nobody has their back. 11 minutes after Israel announced her sovereignty in May of 1948, a Democrat president, Harry Truman, said, "We recognize the Jewish state of Israel." And from 11 minutes after her birth forward, we've always had Israel's back. That door slammed on July 20th when the Iran agreement was signed. And since then, it's been more of the same. When Benjamin Netanyahu stood up at the UN, he was very clear. The silence is deafening. The Ayatollah in Iran has said, in 25 years, Israel, you won't exist. We're going to annihilate you. 5 days after the Iran agreement was signed, the Ayatollah says, our policy toward the U.S. hasn't changed. We're going to annihilate the U.S. These are bad actors. Bad actors that are going to be trillion-dollar wealthy terrorist states with nuclear weapons. We've never been in a time like this before in world history, ever. And I don't want to chance what's going to happen with a nuclear Iran. That's why the best thing that could happen right now, and I begged President Obama to do this the last time I spoke to him as a member of Congress, to please do what we've done before, take out those instruments of death in Iran before the Ayatollah uses them against the United States and kills millions of innocent people. And by the way, it is the West Coast that is most at risk from a nuclear Iran. LA, San Francisco, that's what's at risk.
What about the USS Liberty?
I got it covered, sir. Thank you. So you are Commander-in-Chief Michelle Bachmann. Tell me what you do to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon.
Well, it's very simple. The first thing you do is you work with our allies who want to stop Iran. We're talking Arab allies with Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait. We have a number, Jordan, Egypt, together with Israel, together with the UK, with France. You pull together our allies. This can be done fairly quickly. Over a period of about 6 to 8 weeks, we have the capability today of flattening the nuclear instruments of death. That is the plutonium factory in Arak, A-R-A-K, and also the uranium enrichment facilities that they have built. You're not dropping a bomb on little kids. You're not dropping a bomb on a senior citizen center or a shopping center. We're very precise. We can take a bomb and we can take out that speaker right there. We're that good. So we know exactly where these instruments of death are located. We can get them out, and over a period of 6 to 8 weeks, we would have the job done in all of Iran. In what universe would you not deny to a maniac like the Ayatollah of Iran the instruments of death which he has vowed to use, and now he'll have access to $150 billion immediately to get his project going, and $1 trillion over 10 years? Why wouldn't you deny him the ability to achieve his goal, which is a genocidal death of every Jew he can kill, and also the United States of America? Any sane president would do that. That's what I would do on the first day.
Michelle, why do you think Israel has not done this already?
Because Israel is the size of New Jersey. They fight above their weight, but they're not the United States. They're not Russia. They are not a superpower. And they've always had the luxury of the United States having their back. That's the problem. I also went to meet privately with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after I left the presidential race in 2012, because I saw with President Obama pulling out of Iraq that our allies, literally Iraqis who laid their life down for us, we were thinking on them. And those allies who laid down their life for us, now we're getting their throats slit. I personally talked to an interpreter in the airport in Kabul who told me that he had gotten his golden ticket. He was going to get out of Afghanistan after being one of our interpreters, and he was going to get out and take his wife and his kids. He said a month before, his cousin had his throat slit because the Taliban knew that this guy I was talking to was helping the Americans. You see, that's what we did. We finked on all these Iraqis who gave their lives for us, and they got their throats slit in exchange. Millions, not millions, thousands of people have gotten their lives, have lost their lives. 10,000s of people have lost their lives since the Islamic State came in. I'm sorry, I can't remember where I started out, what your question was, and if I got on another tangent, I'm sorry.
The question was, why didn't Israel do this already?
The reason why Israel didn't do it is because this is a big deal. Because as you can imagine, I mean, Israel's under attack now. 2 Orthodox rabbis were just stabbed this morning, 14 in this last week. There is a current effort by Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority, to whip up more violence in the West Bank right now. And another rocket was just blown into Israel from Hamas in Gaza. They are under attack now. And by the way, about 200,000 Iranian rockets are on Israel's northern border by Hezbollah, Iranian-backed, in southern Lebanon, pointed at Israel. They're in a very tough neighborhood. If they try on their own to go to Iran to take out nuclear facilities, there's more than one. There's multiples. If they go to do it by themselves, this is a very difficult proposition to do. Very difficult, because as I said, with our allies, we would get the job done, but it would take us 6 to 8 weeks. If Israel does it on her own, she will be attacked within about 10 minutes of dropping its first bomb on Iran. Who's going to be there to have their back? Who's going to be there to help them? Again, they're the size of New Jersey. 80% of all Israelis live or work in the Tel Aviv area. 80%. It takes one nuclear bomb to take out pretty much Israel. One well-placed bomb. And the Iranians know that. That's why they're saying to themselves, they're giddy. We're going to have this done. Our goal of annihilating Israel, it's going to be done in less than 25 years. This is a very different world we live in. And so what Israel needed to know is that they can't afford to tick off the United States. And they certainly weren't going to tick off Barack Obama. Even though Barack Obama was making foolish, tragic decisions, they couldn't afford to tick him off. Because it's very difficult for them to carry this out on their own. And what is tragic is that so many of these intelligence leaks that came out cut the legs out of Israel. The first one being our former Defense Secretary, Leon Panetta, in the back of Air Force One, said to the media, well, we have intelligence that Israel is going to bomb in Iran in 2 months. Why would you say that? Why would you tell the media and the world that Israel's going to do that? It's like, why would that happen? The next piece that came out was the leak that Israel had struck an agreement with Saudi Arabia and Azerbaijan. They were going to refuel planes in Azerbaijan because they saw that they might have to go and take out these Iranian nuclear facilities. Then the United States leaked that information. Every intelligence leak had 2 commonalities. One was to cut out the legs of Israel. The other one was advancing the goals of Islamic Jihad. Why would we want to do that? What is unbelievable to me is that the United States was taking the position of advancing the goals of the Ayatollah of Iran. His goal is nuclear weapons. Why would we help him do that? Why would we give him $150 billion? Why wouldn't we do everything we could to make his life miserable? Instead, we're going to hold training and workshops for the Iranians to teach them how to defeat anyone who'd want to sabotage their nuclear program. We've signed up that we, with our treasure and our soldiers, are going to defend the Iranian nuclear facilities. I mean, I can't even believe it that that's what the agreement says. But that's where we're at today. And that's why you see so many people saying, I'm interested in somebody who's going to stand up for me and the United States. I want my economy stood up for. I want my country stood up for. Because they see what these, with all due respect, what these leaders are doing in Washington, D.C., and they think, you don't have a clue anymore. You said it yourself. 22% of the American people are for this Iranian agreement. If they even knew half of what I just said, I don't think you'd have 2% that are for this Iranian agreement. So there's a lot at stake right now. And that's why I think you're seeing a Bernie Sanders surge, because everybody sees that there's nothing there with Hillary Clinton. There's nothing authentic there. So they're going for the real deal, which they see Bernie Sanders is an honest socialist. Joe Biden is honest in what he's saying. So these two are gaining traction, and then this last week, Hillary dropped by 10 points. That's what you're seeing happen. People are desperate because when it comes to the bottom line, Democrat, Republican, independent, apolitical, they love this country, they love their kids, they want the country to survive.